So next, Vashchuk is going to tell us about his online learning project for beginner developers. So
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Petro, and I'm very glad to see you all here. As you hopefully read already the description of this talk, I'm excited to show you my open source learning project that I've been working on. As a developer that was learning myself, when I started to learn how to code, I consistently found myself in need of more visual, practical resources which could be a complementary project to the books that I was studying or other development resources. So I would see how the actual knowledge that I'm gaining would be applied in a real use situation. So I created this project, and I believe it will be useful for many other developers who might struggle with similar issues that I did. While it's primarily geared towards beginner developers, I hope you all will find this talk interesting and might even be willing to contribute afterwards, as it's open source. So let's take a bit closer look and go through the main highlights of this project. So the main highlights is identical web page made in 4 different languages, which are obviously Perl, but also, even though I'm a Perl-oriented person, I've come to learn and experiment with lots of other languages. This repository also has PHP, Python, and JavaScript, and commit by commit learning approach, where each commit is a self-sufficient functioning entity that gets more complicated with each commit. So let's go deeper and figure out what I actually mean. So multilingual approach. Even though, as I said, I'm a Perl person, I had many experiences and pleasures and displeasures working with other languages. This app is coded in 4 different languages, such as Perl, PHP, Python, JavaScript, as I said, and each language is paired with the frameworks of my choice, which was Mojolicious for Perl, Slim for PHP, and Flask for Python, and NodeJS for JavaScript. Okay, now commit by commit learning approach. This repository follows a commit by commit learning approach, where each commit is a self-sufficient functioning entity that develops and fleshes out the app itself. The complexity increases with each commit, which helps learners to grasp the differences between frameworks and languages. This approach also makes it easier to contribute to the project by introducing more intricate concepts, explanation, and documentation. So before I actually delve deeper into all this technical stuff, I want to show the app in action and show what actually it is. So live app demonstration. Let's see, it's already running on my machine, so all we need to do is to just permit to alt tab. So this extremely simple app presents itself as it's a single page application. It's generated by React. It features a simple book and user list with basic CRUD functionality. Let's take a look at the user list, for example. We can delete existing users. We can, yes, of course. Does it look better? Okay. We can add a new user. And we can edit them. So, as I said, basic CRUD functionality. Also, it automatically assigns user ID, obviously, for each user, and also saves the time when you created the user or updated the user. This also page has simple login, which is gonna be very useful for learning purposes. So you don't need to jump between the log window on your terminal and repository and app itself. Okay, so now that we're actually familiar with what this app is, let's dive deeper into the main focus of this task, which is, well, the repository. And as I previously highlighted, the main objective of this repo is to structure its commit as incremental steps, allowing us to use this project as a handy complementary learning resource. You can go through this project commit by commit, observing the growth of this app and how our simple app turns into a more complicated one. Feature by feature, the beauty and the importance of this approach is that you can check out on any existing commits, and you will have basically a fully working app like this, just with much less features. So you can live see the features getting added and learn how they were added and experiment yourself from any point. It's intended for a more iterative and elegant learning experience, not just as a basic Git repository as that exists solely for basic source code management. So it's not a really example of how to make commits and how to properly manage your Git repository. So let's take a look at some features in the repository. Okay, so for example, let's see. Here's the commits for the, let me increase font. Can I do that here? Okay, I'm not sure I can increase the font, I'm sorry. Okay, let's just go through those commits. So as you can see, there are different commits, but mainly there's 4 different commits that add the same functionality for 4 different languages. Currently, I'm standing on commit that adds delete endpoint in Perl, which adds basic delete endpoint functionality and some basic error check and debugging that we've seen on the app itself. And same way, we have exactly same feature made in Python, PHP, and NodeJS. Each of those commits add the same exact feature, but in 4 different languages. For learning purposes, you can just open it and, well, experiment with it the way you want. Okay, let's take a quick look at the README. Of this project. Okay, so in README we have the installation and run basic guide. As we use Docker, the app itself is running right now on my machine inside of our container, and we have such commands for our Docker, such as, well, make, which is just will show the usage. Make Docker hello world, really basic command, which will just show if your Docker is functioning properly or not. But I already know that my Docker works because the app is running up, but you can check it this way. We have make build, which will build the container for you. That's something that you will need to do after you pull this repo for yourself. And we also have tests for each language. There are 4 sets of tests that test the exactly same things for each language. So we could run make tests Perl. Did I make a typo? I made a typo. Okay, and as you can see, it runs the test for Perl. Same way we could run them for each language, because if we check make, we'll see that we have test Python, we have test PHP, we have test JavaScript. And the main command to actually make your app run on your local host is make run Perl, for example. We'll run the Perl version of this repo for us, and it loaded React and loaded our single page application, and it's up again. Same way we can run it on any other language. And there's also make run Perl dev, which basically will map your volume into Docker container, which will allow you to make the changes on the fly, and it will lively change in your application. Okay, so if we go back to the repository itself, it starts with just simple hello world app that we could check out, and we could rebuild our container on this commit, after which we're gonna run it and we're gonna see the working application. But just with hello world. It has just hello world, and each commit functions that way that you can check out on that commit, and it's like as a whole app, as if it's supposed to be like that, but actually there's many more features above added incrementally on top of it. Of course, as it happens with every software, I'm alone can do everything, so there's a bunch of features that I would like to add here, so all contribution would be really welcome, especially if you're someone who much more familiar with PHP, JavaScript, or Python. If there's any like that, would also really appreciate some comments and help of how to maybe make it much better, because as I said, this is all my personal learning experience. I might be not as experienced as you all here, but I'm trying my best. And well, I think this is pretty much it. So
any questions or comments?
this is where you can contact me or find the repo right here.
Thank you very much. That was great. I do have a question. So this was a learning resource for yourself, yeah?
This is started as such, yes.
So you went and said, I'm going to learn all of these things, and I'm going to make it in a way that others can benefit.
Yes, it was already made, so I thought that like why waste it when I can transform it into something better.
Cool. Yeah, that's really nice. I think like sharing these kinds of resources, it's something we don't think about enough. So well done. It's great.
Thank you.